Humanity is now facing an existential threat, which puts everybody at risk, and it has everything to do with the death of art. These cinematic shots were generated with AI. These playable games were also generated with AI. The song playing in the background was generated with AI. Why is AI a problem? Because in just a few more decades, AI will surpass human beings in every single way. There will no longer be a need for creativity, as our movies, music, paintings, books, and video games will all be generated by AI. But this isn't just about AI. Art has been in a steady decline in the last 200 years, and it will continue on this decline. Without art, we would be nothing but machines, mindless slaves to an industrial society. The future for humanity is bleak. But if we fight to keep art alive, then we might just be able to keep our humanity. Time is running out. We need to act now, or else we'll lose everything. Why do we need art? Because art is what makes us human. It's what distinguishes us from any other animal species. We have the ability to connect with each other through our ideas and emotions. But without art, we will lose this ability, which will destroy our entire species. And that's because art plays an essential role in every culture, from paintings, to food, to music, to architecture, to clothing, to dancing, and so much more. When we think of a culture, we think of things like this, or this, or this. A large part of cultural pride comes from the creative expression within a culture. Art creates communities. It's a way for people to bond by expressing their imaginations and emotions and relating to others. Art isn't just an activity or a hobby. It's the identity of every person within a culture and community. Without art, there would be no culture. Without art, we would lose so much connection with the people around us because we would lose so much common ground to relate to. Without art, we would lose so much of our human identity. And that's exactly what's happening to us right now. In the past 2 centuries, art has been on a steady decline, and this all started with the Industrial Revolution. Once factories were able to mass-produce goods, artisans and craftsmen were no longer needed. The invention of mechanical looms meant that textile artists were no longer needed to create clothing. The invention of photography meant that portrait painters were no longer needed. The invention of the assembly line meant that craftsmen and blacksmiths and artisans were no longer needed. Now, fast forward to the last century, and you'll see that art is slowly being replaced by a new form of media: entertainment. Mindless, soulless content created for the sole intention of keeping our attentions and making a profit off of it. This kind of content dominates the economy now, being advertised on every screen in every corner, and generating trillions of dollars of revenue every year. Every day, we are bombarded with movies, music, video games, and short-form content that drains our creativity and develops our screen addiction. Companies do not care about making art anymore. Companies only care about making money and keeping our attention, and this is driving the slow death of creativity. Just take a look at Disney, for example. Disney used to be a company that produced beautiful and innovative animated films which inspired and shaped generations of children, with legendary titles such as Mulan, Beauty and the Beast, Toy Story, The Incredibles, WALL-E, and the list goes on and on. These were movies made with heart and a creative vision to captivate audiences with important life lessons. Take a look at Disney now. Almost everything Disney releases nowadays are either live-action remakes of their classics or sequels to their original work. Why? Because it's proven that these properties will continue to make billions of dollars. The result? Disney shoves countless soulless films and TV shows in our faces every year for the one intention of making money. There is no artistry and passion behind these projects. There is only greed. This is what kids are growing up with. This is what our culture has turned into. And it's not just Disney. Do you notice how we've been getting so many video game movies recently? The first notable one was Detective Pikachu, and this started a massive wave of video game movies. We got Sonic, the Super Mario movie, Five Nights at Freddy's, and now we're getting a Minecraft movie, which looks absolutely horrendous. These movies are mediocre at best, with poor execution and no passion whatsoever. Yet they still continue to make hundreds of millions of dollars every year. Companies have learned what kind of content will make them massive profits, and they will milk it all dry. The modern film industry is driven by formulas and greed. It's always the most bland and repetitive movies that make the most money. Entertainment is slowly replacing all forms of art by mesmerizing audiences with cheap, stimulating nonsense. Why watch challenging cinema when you can just watch a movie full of flashy explosions and visual effects and fight scenes? Why listen to profound, meaningful music when you can just play a simple, catchy 3-minute pop song? Why do anything creative at all when you can just constantly be stimulated by endless short-form content? Art is dying. But it wasn't always like this. Art used to be at the core of all culture, economics, and politics. Since the earliest civilizations, art held an essential role in every culture and symbolized cultural pride and unity. Art was essential for every religion, as it was a medium to communicate with the divine. Every civilization had temples, sculptures, and paintings to depict gods, goddesses, and sacred stories to their culture. Music also went hand in hand with religion, as many religious traditions required musical rituals to guide worship. Art was also a driving force of the economy. Before the Industrial Revolution, common people didn't work shifts for companies and employers. People were self-employed, and many were artisans and craftsmen. Roles like blacksmiths, weavers, potters, bakers, glassblowers, tailors, and carpenters were vital to an economy. Trade was also essential to economies, and artistic items like jewelry, pottery, textiles, sculptures, and paintings were highly sought after in trade. These goods symbolized wealth and status, and were often exchanged for other valuable items like gold. Back then, people made a living off creating what they are passionate about and contributing to their culture and community. Compare that to nowadays, where the vast majority of people are working long shifts for major industrial corporations towards an end product that they don't care about and won't be credited for. A long time ago, art was also a core component of politics, as art was a symbol of power and unity. The Greeks displayed their power like this. The Ming Dynasty displayed their power like this. The Indians displayed their power like this. The Byzantine Empire displayed its power like this. Nowadays, power is displayed with sports cars, yachts, expensive brands, and monotonous skyscrapers. Art used to be in every facet of humanity, because art is at the core of our humanity. To be human is to create and to imagine, to see beauty in anything, and to capture that beauty for others to experience. To be human is to innovate and inspire. To be human is to connect with each other through our passions and ideas. To be human is to be an artist. But as societies continue to industrialize, and we continue to lose art, we will also begin to lose our humanity. Art is dying, and if it hasn't been made clear from the rise of entertainment and industrialism, now artificial intelligence is here to finish the job. With today's technology, AI can now create paintings, videos, and music indistinguishable from human-made art. And as AI improves each year, there will be less incentive for making art. Art is hard, and there are many techniques and methods involved with every art that take years to master. With painting, you need to learn the basics of shading, form, perspective, composition, and color theory. With music, you need to learn rhythm, chords, scales, time signatures, harmony, phrasing, and notation. With creative writing, you need to learn syntax, the three-act structure, character arcs, pacing, conflict, figurative language, and literary devices. Art isn't something you just learn overnight. It takes roughly 10,000 hours for a person to master any form of art. It takes 10 seconds to generate something with AI. So why go through all of that hard work when you can just create anything you want in just a few simple clicks? In the next few decades, we'll notice a shift as people begin to stop creating art and use these AI generators instead. This technology is already being used to replace authentic human work. Everywhere you go on the internet, you'll find AI-generated images. A large portion of all scripts and essays are now written with ChatGPT. Hell, even the entire script for this video was written by ChatGPT. Just kidding, I would never do that, which is why you need to subscribe right now. AI is being used everywhere, and this is only the start of the AI revolution. The first workable AI image generator was released only 4 years ago in 2021, and look at how far AI media has come. The quality and accuracy of AI image generators have improved drastically. We now have Google VO2, an AI model which can generate high-quality videos nearly identical to real life. We also have Genie 2, a model that can generate a playable 3D game with nothing but a sentence-long prompt. We also have Suno, an AI model which can generate music indistinguishable from real human-made music. AI is growing at an exponential rate, so if AI can already do this, there's no doubt that in a few more decades of progress, AI will replace almost everyone in the film industry, the music industry, the gaming industry, and any other form of media. Anything that a film studio or production company can do, AI will be able to do better and faster. Why put billions of dollars into paying people to make content when AI can produce it with higher quality and efficiency for almost no cost at all? AI will take out the humanity from all the content that we consume. Not only that, but with the convenience and efficiency of AI, art will no longer be valuable to society. People will no longer care to paint or write or create music when they have access to powerful AI tools. As the incentive for making art begins to deteriorate, so will the resources and materials needed to create art. Since less people will care about art, arts and music stores will go bankrupt, and the production and sales for instruments and art supplies will decrease. Art schools will go out of business since no one will attend them, and art teachers will need to switch careers as their service will no longer be needed. The result of this, learning and making art will become extremely difficult. People will have a very hard time learning how to draw, or how to dance, or how to use a camera, or how to paint and sculpt and animate. So even if some people still want to learn how to create art, they won't be able to. And combine this with our creatively drained societies driven by industrialism, and the result will be the death of art. Without art, we'll be a society not of humans, but of mindless machines. There won't be any creativity or artistic motivation left. There won't be any creation. There will only be consumption. We'll spend our hours with meaningless work and spend our free time with meaningless entertainment. We have a very dark future ahead of us. But it doesn't have to be like this. There is still hope for the future. Creativity and innovation are what makes humans unique, and these are features that can't simply be taken away from us. No amount of industrialism and technology can remove the artistic nature which sits at the core of our species. Art is dying, but it isn't dead yet. People are still working on passion projects. People are still contributing to their culture and community with their creative endeavors. People are still making art, despite all the mindless entertainment being shoved in our faces. With all the hundreds of big-budget, uninspired, cash-grab Hollywood films being pumped out every year, we still get a few genuine masterpieces that convey deep emotions and powerful messages. With all the soulless, formulaic pop songs being mass-produced every year to reach the top of billboards, we still get a few beautiful and meaningful albums created by dedicated artists with a vision. With society dragging young students through meaningless academic rigor every year, there still exists many valuable resources that help young people to learn the process behind creating art. And even though the vast majority of people are still working long shifts for a company they don't care about, people still find the time to pursue their artistic endeavors with their hobbies. Boy and the World is an animated film about many things. It's about a boy losing his innocence as he discovers the world. It's about the dehumanization of workers in massive and busy factories. It's about the loneliness of individuals in an industrialized society which cuts off human connection and treats humans like machines. It's about how consumption and materialism control the lives of every person in the city. It's about the mass destruction of nature that fuels the industrialization of society. But above all, it's a film about the people's response to all of this. Even through all the hardship and labor and isolation, people still have the strength and creativity to express themselves. Music is a central theme in the movie, and it brings people together. People form communities by gathering together and making music. They don't appear to have much, but that doesn't matter when they're playing their instruments. It shows how anyone can create art, no matter their age or background or status. The film shows how industrial factories isolate and dehumanize people, but when they can gather together and create art, their humanity and culture is restored. Boy and the World delivers an important message, that through all the industrialization and isolation and materialism and brainwashing media, the human spirit will still carry on. It stands clear that there is still art in the souls of people. Through all the industrialization and mindless entertainment and technological isolation, there is still an artistic voice in everyone's heads, screaming out to be heard. The truth is, everyone is an artist, but most people don't realize this, because society doesn't reward artists, but instead rewards obedient workers to a growing industrialism. Through all the years of rigid education systems and 9-to-5 jobs, many have forgotten about their artistic nature. But deep down, there is an artistic voice in every single person that won't allow art to die. So pick up that guitar, that violin, that piano, or whatever instrument you can play. Pick up that paintbrush, pick up that spray paint, pick up that camera, pick up that crochet hook, learn the recipe for that dish, perform in that theater, open that software, put on those dance shoes, open that document and start writing. Turn those ideas that have been lingering in your head into life. Collaborate with the people around you and make something you can be proud of. Not because it will make you a prophet, but because you are a human. We are not machines, we are artists. Through the perspective of art, anything can be beautiful, and that especially applies to our hardships and struggles. When times get tough, and we feel terrible on the inside, those emotions mean something through art. I can clearly remember all those times when I felt terrible because of whatever was going on in my life. And I would pick up my guitar and write a song about it. And then everything felt like it was going to be okay. Art can help people through tough times. Art can bring people together through culture and community, which is why we need art now more than ever. We are reaching an age where so many cultures and communities are falling apart. Loneliness rates are higher than ever. Depression rates are higher than ever. But art creates a culture that brings people together, and with art, we will be a little less alone. We need art now more than ever. If we reject the mindless entertainment constantly being shoved in our faces and choose to create instead of consume, then together we can continue the creative and imaginative spirit of our species. But AI is getting more powerful every day. The world is becoming more industrialized every day. The resources and knowledge needed to create art will diminish to a point where no one will be able to learn how to create art anymore. We need to take advantage of what we still have and use it before it's too late. It's time to save art. It's time to save our humanity.